Our first guest tonight is a five-time Mr. Universe and two-term governor of California who now lives in a petting zoo. He has a popular series called Fubar, which returns to Netflix for season 2 tomorrow. Please welcome Arnold Schwarzenegger. Wow, remember when you were the governor and everything was pretty good? Everybody seemed pretty happy back then, huh?
Well, I mean, no matter where I go,
people are happy?
I bring happiness.
You do.
That's my job. I'm a positive person, and I always try to kind of fix things. But I think that what you're referring to is, of course, the protests that are going on
everything
in LA.
that's going on.
I totally agree with you, by the way, Jimmy, because they make it out to like it is a war zone, the whole Los Angeles, the whole city or the county. And the fact of the matter is it's maybe like 0.001% of the area of Los Angeles has problems, and there's a protest.
Yeah.
And so I think that this is important for people to know, because I don't want all of a sudden tourism to suffer in Los Angeles because what they see on television, because the media sometimes shows it as if the whole Los Angeles is a big war zone, which is not really the case.
No, none of Los Angeles is a war
But
zone.
this wouldn't happen if the politicians would do their work. Think about it.
Now, what do you mean by that exactly? What do you mean by that?
For decades, almost 4 decades, we have had a problem where they talked about immigration reform, comprehensive immigration reform. But the Democrats and the Republicans, both of the parties, have no interest in solving this problem because they use that to raise money. And so what they do is they just keep pointing the finger at each other, and then they're surprised if all of a sudden we are using our middle finger on them, right? But I mean, it's all bogus, because I think that we can do better than that. Democrats and Republicans, and you know, when they talk about Democrats and Republicans, even though I'm a Republican, I tell you, it is sometimes disappointing. And then I think even just when you look at the symbols of the party, think about that. I mean, the Democrats, donkey, Republicans, elephant. And the donkey's a jackass. And of course, wherever the big animal goes, leaves a pile of dump, right? I mean, so the symbols say it all.
Yeah.
And I just get very frustrated because we send those politicians to Washington to solve the problems. In all their eyes, instead of public servants, they're party servants. And I think this is really the bad thing about it, you know. So it's just, I think there should be public servants.
I'm sure there's a huge amount of truth to that. First of all, I love having you here tonight because I think that you're a person who is trusted on both sides, and that's very rare nowadays. And I think probably Donald Trump doesn't want you to be trusted because I don't think Donald Trump likes you very much, to be honest. True? Yeah. So, but I think the nature of the media is to show where, you know, there's some guys robbing or looting a medical marijuana store, and then there's, you know, a few Waymos on fire, and to put that together in a montage and make it seem like all hell is breaking loose here. What is your opinion? Is that the case here in Los Angeles right now?
No, well, first of all, let's just be honest. The whole thing has to do with the deportation.
Yes, of course.
Of course, this is a very sensitive subject to me, because when I came over to this country, I was living in fear of being deported.
Were you?
Yeah, because at one point I did a movie that was so bad that I thought that the critics would deport me. Would deport me and send me back to Austria. Hasta la vista, baby.
You were worried that you were going to be deported for creative reasons. Yes. So, but seriously, of course, there truly are families that are worried they're going to be deported. Do you think that people who've been in this country for 25 years and who have had no criminal activity whatsoever should be granted the rights of U.S. citizenship?
Well, this is what I'm talking about. is immigration reform. A comprehensive immigration reform will address all of
Would
those
include
issues.
that.
Yes, and also we would then be able to hand out more visas, temporary working permits, permanent working permits, the green card, and citizenship, and all of those things. And we would know who comes into the United States rather than not knowing and having so many people here that we don't even know who they are and what kind of criminal activities they are participating in and all this. So it's a shame, the whole thing, because we have a country that needs workers, and when you look at south of the border, they want to work. So it's a perfect match. But let's do it legal, and let's do it in a coherent way rather than doing it the way it is right now, which is a disaster. And I told you, that's what makes me so disappointed that both of the parties do not want to go and solve this problem once and for all and create good immigration reform. The way, like the Senator Kennedy and John McCain worked it out, and they had a really great bill there, but then they didn't go for it.
Do you, as someone who has experience with predators, how would you handle Donald Trump in this situation where he is threatening to withhold federal funding from our students, from our schools, from disabled students? We are a state that pays more to the federal government than we get in return from the federal government. Is it realistic, this idea that Governor Newsom has floated, that we would just stop paying them the money that we pay them?
Well, it sounds always easy, isn't it?
It sounds easy, but it never is.
It doesn't happen because every individual in California pays taxes, pays the state tax, local tax, and pays federal tax. So how are you going to stop them from doing that? And then if the IRS coming after you. I mean, this is, look, yeah. I just want everyone to know this is all dialogue. This is rhetoric. The left going after the right going after the left. I mean, the bottom line is they should get together rather than always pointing the finger at each other. They should really get together and solve this problem because that's what the American people want. They want to have this problem solved.
Yeah, well, it seems like our president doesn't want to have this problem solved. He wants to create problems here in our state.
I have to tell you, people always say to me, oh my God, what's going on in America right now and all this stuff. And I said to them, relax. I've come over here in 1968 where it was a disaster. I mean, even the most fantastic country, but I came over here, 1968, Martin Luther King was assassinated. Bobby Kennedy was assassinated. There were the riots left and right because of the Vietnam War. There were the protests. Then there was the attack on the Democratic Convention in Chicago. And then after that, there was Watergate. And the thing went on and on and on where people said, what is going on in America? And we got out of that mess. So America will always get out of this mess. And we will get out of this, believe me, this will be solved, this issue. Los Angeles will always be a great city to come to. I'm very, very proud of Los Angeles. And I think the key thing here is that the federal government and the state and the locals work together to solve those problems.
People need to hear that because people are looking for something positive. I think a lot of people are feeling disheartened and like, oh, things are not going to get better. They're going to get worse.
Let me tell everyone here, I travel a lot. And I just came back from Europe. And today, as much as 50 years ago, the same amount of people come up to me and says, Arnold, please, can you help me to get to America?
They do.
Because it's the greatest country in the world. It is the best country in the world. It is fantastic. No matter who is leading it and all this stuff, people come and go, but this always will be the greatest country. And this is why I cannot wait to celebrate the 250th anniversary of America and to just once again say, thank you, America, for, kind of bringing me into this country and showing me this enormous generosity. Everything that I've ever accomplished in my life is because of America. That's the bottom line.
You are, why were you in Europe? What were you doing there over in Europe?
I was in Europe. I was doing an environmental conference in Vienna, where we bring all the nations together and we talk about terminating pollution. And then at the same time, of course, my team decided to have an event at the Schwarzenegger Museum.
Oh.
Accidentally, they said, 2 days earlier.
Okay.
So I, of course, had to go there also.
Yeah, sure.
And so I went there, and all of a sudden there I saw 150 people doing deadlifts in front of the house that I grew up in.
Is that true?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. And there was 2 deadlift bars there, and they were doing deadlifts, and each side was competing, and they went up all of it. It was amazing. There was one woman that was deadlifting like over 300 pounds, and not like that she was a big woman, a regular-sized woman was lifting over 300 pounds. And then the guys will go up to 500 pounds or so. So they all had a great time. It's part of the Arnold Pump Club. And, you know, where we bring people together and we kind of inspire them to train and to stay fit and also to have a better life, to be happier in life, to accomplish your goals and all this stuff.
Can I be in the Pump Club? Or is it just exclusively for very fit people?
Absolutely.
Because is there a Plump Club, maybe?
No.
It's just Pump Club? Could I be the Plump Cub in your Pump Club?
Well, I mean, I will have to check on that because maybe you have to gain 20 pounds so we can take the before
You know what
picture.
we'll do? After the show, I'll come back to the dressing room, I'll strip down, you evaluate me, and we'll figure it out.
Okay, good.
All right, Governor Schwarzenegger is here. The show is called Fubar. We'll be right back.
In a DARPA helicopter.
Did you hear that gunfire? It's hotter than your mom eating soup in a jacuzzi.
Oh my.
We'll discuss it in therapy.
That is Arnold Schwarzenegger in season 2 of Fubar, which he premieres tomorrow, starting on Netflix. I don't know if No, the Equipment Went Over is going to be the new Hasta La Vista, baby. I'm not sure that one will rank among the greats, but it's pretty solid.
Oh, yeah, no, it was really, I couldn't believe how much action there was in this season. And
were you upset that there was this much action?
No, but I mean, when you get to my age,
yeah, it's like...
you know, my knees are hurting eventually with all the kicks and the climbing and all the stuff.
When you sit down with the script, do you go, guys, give me a break? Are you kidding me? I'm fighting guys on a boat?
No, I'm actually looking forward to it.
You like it? Okay.
Yeah. So when you hear me complain about it, that's just the dialogue.
I got you, okay.
Like, the reality is, I love when I see it on the screen, and I love the way they edit it, and it's really action-packed. And then some of the dangerous stuff you don't do yourself. You know, the stunt guys come in and they do that because no one wants you to get hurt on a set because that means that you have to then delay the filming and all that stuff. So everything is pretty safe. But I mean, it's a lot of work because on TV, unlike in movies where you shoot 3 pages a day, in TV you shoot 8 to 10 pages a day.
Right.
So everything goes faster and faster and faster. But they managed more action, more comedy, more drama in this season, so it's really fantastic.
And even some dancing. You have a dance scene this season, which is, you can't get a stunt person for that. You got to really learn to dance.
No, I did the dancing.
You did the dancing.
I mean, that's a lot of fun to do.
Are you a good dancer?
No.
You're not.
I suck in dancing. I mean, it's that simple.
Never had that as part of your training, your weight training, dancing, nothing like that?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, there's a lot of things that we train, but for certain things you have a certain talent. I just don't have an ear for music, and you know, so I'm therefore not a really good dancer. But that doesn't mean that I cannot do the scene, because what I do is I do a lot of reps. So I do a lot of rehearsals, and Carrie Ann, she was naturally talented, and she was good in dancing, so she worked with me like 6-7 days of rehearsals and stuff like that we did each day, 2 to 3 hours. And then eventually I just went on my own with the choreographer, which was a guy.
Oh, and you danced with him?
Yeah, so he said to me, he should bring another woman. And I said, no, I just do it with you. You know, I come from the bodybuilding world. I mean,
You've showered with a million guys.
Exactly. So what's the big deal?
Difference,
So I was leaning him back, and I was doing the whole thing with this choreographer. I mean, he was really getting a laugh out of it.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Is it true that you knew Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
You did? How did you know Michael?
Well, I know a lot of people.
I know, but how'd you know him? Did you guys have some kind of like, we have pets in our house club, or what was the deal?
No. I mean, Michael Jackson, he came to the set when we were filming at Universal Studio. We were filming Jingle All the Way. This was back in the 90s.
Michael Jackson came to the set of Jingle All the Way?
He came to the set, and then he visited me a few days in a row in my motorhome, in the trailer, when I had lunch. And
Really?
He just wanted to schmooze and he wanted to talk about the show. And
Wait a minute.
he loved
3
all the
days
stuff.
in a row, Michael Jackson showed up for lunch in your trailer on Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
And were you dressed as like in a Christmas costume?
No,
for this?
I was dressed as Turbo Man because we were doing the scene over there at Universal where I fly through the air as Turbo Man, which was the kind of a character that was has been sold for Christmas, and then they ran out of this toy, and so that was basically the story.
And Michael's like,
and that's
"Oh,
when
I love
played,
you,
then
Turbo
played
Man.
yeah.
Let's have lunch.
He just thought it was a fantastic, script. The idea was good.
What did he
loves
eat?
Christmas movies.
What did he have
said.
for lunch? Do you remember?
I don't remember
You don't
anything.
know.
No, but
What'd you
he's
talk
very,
about?
very particular in eating because I remember that eventually we ended up at Katzenberg's house, who is one of the big
Jeffrey
movie
Katzenberg,
moguls
yeah, right.
in Hollywood. And he invited us for dinner, and Michael brought his own chef.
His own chef?
Yeah, his own chef. He was in the kitchen cooking. Because he wanted to stay lean, and he was very serious about his diet and about his health and all that stuff.
Wow, his own chef.
Yeah.
Oh, he seems like maybe he was kind of a weird guy.
No, yeah. I mean, he was shy and very low key, but I mean, a really nice man. He was really fantastic.
You, one of your first jobs when you came to the United States was with Lucille Ball on an Art Carney special, right?
Well, it was a Lucy special, and Art Carney was one of the stars.
Oh.
He just won the Academy Award for Best Acting, and she called me one day in the gym.
How did she, what? She phoned you in the gym?
She phoned me in Gord's gym, and all of a sudden someone said, Lucy is on the phone. I say, Lucy who? And now I remember seeing her show, but I did not know this is the Lucy. So then the owner of Gord's gym, Joe Gord, said to me, he says, this is Lucy Ball. This is the woman. I mean, she's really powerful. And then he gave me the phone. And so I took the phone and said, hello. And she says, I saw you yesterday on the Merv Griffin show. And I just wanted you to know that, I mean, you were so funny. You were like unbelievable with your energy. I love your energy. I want you to be part of our 2-hour special. Happy anniversary and goodbye. I said, well, thank you very much. That's very nice of you. I said, so what do we do? And she says, well, come tomorrow at 2 o'clock to the studio, the Fox studio. And so I would go over there at 2 o'clock. And she said to me, she said, oh, it's so wonderful to have you here. The director was sitting there, the producer, Gary Morton, her husband. And all of those people were sitting there. The next thing I know is that she pulls out a script. And then I just sat there and I said, my name is Sandow. I'm Italian truck driver. And she says, oh, let me take the script from you. It's such stupid writing. I mean, look, why don't we just improvise here a little bit? I didn't know what that meant either.
Great.
Yeah, so, but anyway, she says, you're in, right, guys? And so everyone right away nodded, the director and the producers and everyone.
And then
I
this
was
happened.
in.
I set up table.
You need any help?
See, take off your clothes.
Wow. That's unbelievable. What a life.
Yeah, I know.
What a life. Arnold Schwarzenegger, everybody. Season 2 of Fubar premieres tomorrow on Netflix. We'll be back with Amy Lou Wood. Guillermo, do you know how many subscribers we have on YouTube now?
20 million.
That's right. Yeah, that's why we're wearing these glasses. Thanks for being a subscriber. If you're not, help us get to 20,000,001.